let's do this. Welcome back to another edition of Farmer Cigar Grudge Talks. We've got a weird one here and a fun topic today. So first off, we are smoking the Bohemian Twins. This is what's known as a Colibri cigar. Translates loosely into a snake cigar. The cigars are snaked around each other. Do not smoke them together. All right? Don't do it. I'm going to separate these cigars out real quick. Does take a second here. Yeah, I've done it before. I've smoked them together. Not as much fun as you think it would be. One, it's a pain in the ass to keep them lit. The flavors, I mean, they kind of meld together. Not as much as you'd be hoping they would. So yeah, don't smoke these together. The tradition holds, I'm going to take the band right off here. The tradition holds that these were what the young women, so cigars are traditionally wrapped by women, and they were allowed to take one cigar home. Well, in Cuba, you usually had multiple generations of males who lived with you. You usually had a brother. See, look at that. They come out like that. Trust me, they look weird, but they smoke actually really nice. You'd have a brother, you'd have a father, and it's not uncommon. You would also then usually have a grandfather. But you're, oops, I dropped my cigar cutter. Look at that. You're only allowed to have one cigar. So what was the solution? They started wrapping these cigars that had multiple cigars in them, usually 3. So you had a bunch to give your family. Excuse me, here's I light this one real quick. Not much of a toasting needed. It is a bizarre cigar to smoke. You wouldn't think that a bent crushed cigar would have a good draw or that'd be good to smoke. It is delicious. Plus you get a Connecticut and a Maduro. Yeah, draw is beautiful, flavor is great. Needs a touch up a little bit there, kind of a bad burn. For the beer tonight, we have the Local Amber, which is an American amber lager from your neighbors known where it's brewed at. Oh, there it is, Shorts Brewery. Shorts, let's see how your amber brewing does. So this is a 2-part video series. Obviously, I have 2 cigars to smoke. So there's this video, and then there'll be the bonus video. If you're curious about the cherries in the bottom of my glass, it's kind of a new tradition I'm trying, where every drink you leave a cherry in there, and then at night you eat the cherries, you get all the flavors. It's actually kind of a beautiful little amber. Whoops. Okay, I'm spilling stuff now. I'm too excited, that's the problem. Hold on, dump that out. So, that's actually a good amber too. I'm kind of upset I spilled that. Well, I got some paper towel going here. We'll wipe this up. So anyway, tonight's video, you dumbass, you decided to join EMS. What were you thinking? Honestly. Did you not watch the earlier video where I talked about some of the downfalls of EMS? Did the crappy schedule and crappy pay not give you an indicator? The horror stories that other medics no doubt have shared with you, didn't they drive you away? I'm guessing the answer is all no. So, here we go. Some advice from the old retired guy to you young whippersnappers getting into the field. Some of it's dated, sure. Some of it's maybe not relevant. Okay, fine, I'll take that argument. Hopefully, though, you can glean some nuggets of truth and move forward with your time in EMS, and you survive and thrive in this profession. So first and foremost, let's address I got some old rappers here too, some old bands. Let's address the elephant in the room. You are going to see stuff that no human being should ever have to see. You're going to have to do stuff that no human being will ever have to do. Your mental health will be drastically affected. Do not, I repeat, do not fall into the trap, the deadly trap, thinking you can't ask for help. Every year, we get a physical. Usually in most EMS departments, require you to get a physical, require to get you a fitness exam, fitness for duty exam. We should require to go get a mental health checkup. If you're going to be in EMS, get a counselor. It is not, let me repeat, not a sign of weakness to see a mental health professional. It is part of you. It's part of your health. It's part of your psyche. It's what makes you you. Do not think for a second that talking to a mental health professional is a sign of weakness. Do not imagine for a moment that talking to a therapist is a sign of failure. This should be no different than getting a vaccine booster. It should be no different than getting your blood pressure checked. No different than stepping on the scale and measuring your weight. Listen, we are going to see horrible things. Stuff that'll keep you up at night. There's one of two ways to deal with it. A good talk therapy session or booze and cigars. Trust me, I've been down the booze and cigars method more than I would like to admit. It took me years to realize a healthy relationship. And in that time, I definitely went down paths I regret. Once I started talking to people about what was going on in my head, what was I thinking, what was I believing, what was I doing, life got better, a lot better, to be able to push aside addiction. On that note, be ready. Pick your addiction. Caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, other drugs. The draw for addiction is real. Find some sort of addiction that is healthy. Pick exercising. After a shift, go work out. After a tough call, go lift some weights. Now, all addictions are bad. Trust me, you can overdo lifting, you can overdo working out. Read the Bible. Have a bad call, thumb through until someone says stop, start reading. Don't stop until you find your answer. And trust me, it won't take long. God will give you the answer. Watch your addictions. Those addictions are everywhere. And your partners will convince you to do more addictions than you ever want to do. They'll get you started on stuff that you should never have started. They'll get you understanding or believing that these addictions are what's honestly going to cure you. On that note of addictions comes the salty old bastards. Those EMTs, those paramedics who've been in the job long enough, they should have quit a long time ago. The funny part is they come at all ages. I've seen 20-year-old salties. I've seen 60-year-old salties. People who just don't give a damn. They've given up. They just do the protocol, the bare minimum. I remember very vividly, I was doing some training for a department, and a salty comes up. He says, no one gives a flying fuck about what you're teaching. They just care whether or not you can do the protocols. Okay? As I say, for any... look at the ash on that. That's actually pretty aggressive. I'm liking that. As I say to anyone who gives me a critique of my teaching ability, I thank them heavily. Thank you very much for your opinion. I don't believe what you're saying is correct, but I'll take it to heart. So he was yelling that, you don't need that extra education. You just do the bare minimum. Okay, sure. He's also the type that was quick to say anyone who does drugs or alcohol, we should just get rid of Narcan. He was a big, get rid of Narcan off the truck. Let him die. Let him die. No, folks, we should not just let him die. They are struggling. Sure, we're going to Narcan him today, we're going to Narcan him tomorrow, we're going to Narcan him again in a week. But you know what? Maybe this time it'll work. Maybe next time it'll work. Maybe the next time it'll work. But if they're dead, it don't work no more. They can't get the help they need. So let's keep trying. On that note, those salties also, they don't want you to learn. They want you to be as dumb as they are. Oh, no one cares about this, right? Train. If you're new in EMS, say yes to every training, every module, every online course, say yes. And once you've exhausted every EMS training, I want you to go into recertification and be like, I guess I can only submit 48 credits or whatever, 60 credits. Depends on where you live, of course. I guess I can only submit. I want you to have double, triple, quadruple what you need. And don't just stop at EMS. That's the weird part. We'll stop at EMS with our continuing ed. If there's a fire training, learn about fire EVs, how to put out EV fires. 110%, that does not deal with EMS. But you know what? You'll be on that fire call with somebody who doesn't have the training, or you'll be inside a situation where you're like, wait a minute, the EV battery, when it burns, it's burning hydrochloric acid, which puts off not only extra chlorine atoms, creating a chlorine gas, but a hydrogen sulfide gas due to the plastic that's in there. Is this patient actually getting poisoned on top of his car accident? Should we maybe be doing a breathing treatment or looking at some sort of reversal agent for these chemicals he's been exposed to? Most medics would never have thought of it. Most EMTs are dumb to that. Take the trainings. And don't just take EMS, fire, first responder trainings. You hear the local... God, I wish I could actually remember my local unions here. I think there's 1218, 1242 steelworkers. Sorry, steelworkers. I do love you guys. You build great bridges and great homes. Maybe if I find it, I'll put it up inside there, which the local steel union. But you hear that they're doing a lift or a hazardous lift class, put on by the local steel union. Find out how to do critical lifts. Critical lifts, that's the word. Go ahead and take it. I learned more by going to industrial classes that had nothing to do with response. So the few times I did get some industrial responses, well, one, I knew the terminology. As my son's future professor will say, I knew to walk the walk and talk the talk. I knew about pinch points. I knew about loads. I knew about tensile strengths when it came to different load factors. Angles and how they multiply the load on the breaking point of a certain pivot point. I had learned that all by going to this industrial class about safe lifting of heavy machinery, of course, not just lifting with your back. Is your local electricians union doing a high voltage class? You don't know. You don't know when that stuff comes in handy. And if you look at the statistics, most EMTs and paramedics crap out after 3 years. Odd. Why so weird of a number? They crap out after 3 years. Let me think about. Oh wait, all your primary and continuing ed training for EMS, your first license renewal ends at 3 years. So you stop learning new things. You stop advancing. You stop having purpose to driving forward. So if you don't really want to learn about this crap, and again, why would you? Why would you want to go to a animal rearing class to learn about what to do with a spooked animal when you have your hand up its hoo-ha? Don't blame you. But realize the second you stop training is the second you start dying in EMS, is the second you start realizing, what the hell did I get myself into? Probably should have started the video with this next one. But one of the most important things you can do is learn how to get a freaking thank you. Listen, you take that 70-year-old from home to hospital. To you, it's a dumpster run, right? We picks them up and we dumps them off. Who cares, right? Whoop, dropped my cigar. Man, it's okay. We're good. Just brush that off. The cigar survived. No cracks, actually. Good job. Good job, Diesel. Making a good quality cigar. Who cares? Well, maybe it didn't all get cleaned off. But they thanked you. And so our adjunct, maybe it's even trained responses, oh, yes, you're welcome. Means nothing, I did nothing. No, take it as a thank you. They mean it. Take it as what they mean. Tell them a heartfelt, you're welcome. I appreciate you recognizing my service and what I did. Understand that they honestly mean it. Kind of a cliche movie. Street Fighter, the movie. All right, stop laughing. I actually enjoyed a lot of it. But there's a scene in there where Bison is talking to Chung-Li. And Chung-Li tells about how her father was this like farmer village leader. And, you know, he stood up against Bison. And Bison, the last minute, shot and killed her father. And how she's here to avenge his death. And he must know who this farmer is. And Bison looks at him and says, this earth-shattering event that was brought to you by Bison, when Bison graced your life, was nothing but a slow Tuesday to me. No joke, when I was doing a death and dying class, I wrote a poem called The Slow Tuesday. Maybe I'll read it one of these times. But it's true. We see cardiac arrests, we see chest pains, we see difficulty breathing, hypoglycemia, the list goes on and on, you know, not feeling well. For us, it's just a slow Tuesday, right? Who cares? Yeah, okay, fine. The guy's having a diabetic emergency, blood sugar was 30, gave him a D50, woke up, woo, no big deal, everyone likes D50. Well, to that person, that was the single most amazing thing you could have done. The most impactful and amazing thing you could have done was to save their life. And to them it was a life-saving procedure. Yes, to you, it was a Thursday. It was a Tuesday. For me, ironically, it was Friday, but that's for another video. But to that person, you saved their life. You made a difference. You showed up. You were there. You did what needed to be done. So when they say thank you, damn it, accept it. Accept their thanks. Because as much as it may sound cliche to you, to them it's heartfelt. To them it is earnest. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. If there's non-EMS people watching this video, buy them a box of donuts. You buy someone in EMS a box of donuts and they light up like a freaking Christmas tree and stay lit for a week. They'll talk about that box of donuts for a month. So if someone comes in, EMS comes in and saves your loved one, get them a box of donuts or a box of cookies. Trust me, the smile on their face, next level. For my other virgin, fledgling, baby EMTs and paramedics, you come first. Your safety, your protection, your well-being comes first. That hurts, right? Well, maybe I won't wear my seatbelt this time because, this patient might need some critical care. It might need some supplies that I got to quickly go and get. No, they don't. They don't need it. We don't understand. Like, if I'm buckled up, I might not be able to, get to them quick enough if something goes down. Yes, you can. You get to them way quick enough. You need to realize that your safety comes first. And a lot of those old salties will tell you, no, that's fine. It's okay. Go faster. Go inside the house. Oh, I know they say to wait for law enforcement. Let's go in anyway. Nah, not a thing. I remember there was a patient, military vet, great guy. Give you the shirt off his back. He would help people shovel their driveways. He would help people re-roof in our community. Awesome, awesome individual when he was sober. Get a couple beers in him. Get some loud noises going. The guy was back in Afghanistan, shooting down people, having kids run at him with RPG rounds to throw at their Humvee. Women pretending to be pregnant, strapped with explosives that he had to mow down with his Ma Deuce. Boy lived through hell. Of course, government didn't help him at all. Most of you vets know that. Well, I had saved his daughter's life. So me and him had what you would call a really good working relationship. When he had his psychotic episodes, I just remind him that, hey, I'm not your enemy. I saved your daughter's life, you remember? He'd remember. Oh, yeah. Homeschooling, or you farmer, you saved my daughter. What do you want me to do? Stand down. Get in the ambulance. I had a new recruit, Greenhorn, going through his training, getting signed off. Got a call, and the Greenhorn went, whoa, wait. We should wait for EMS. Nah, man, I got this. Ran in, guy stood down, no problem. Well, Greenhorn passed his initiation. I think it was like 4 months later. My buddy starts having his drunken panic attack. He remembered, you could just run in on this guy, don't worry. He did. Got his ass severely beat. Ended up with, I think, a broken rib, black eye, multiple hematomas throughout his body. I mean, this vet was a good fighter. Trust me, this guy could fight. Unfortunately, the vet who just needed someone to listen to him, someone to be calm, even police to... There are a couple of officers, too, who could talk to him. Unfortunately, this medic ran in because my dumbass told him, oh, it's all right. Just go on in. I should have validated what he said. You're right. You don't feel comfortable? What can we do to make you feel comfortable? You want to wait for law enforcement? We'll wait for law enforcement. You want to do a staging? Let's do a staging. You want to go in tack 1? Let's go in tack 1. You greenhorns out there, you new EMTs, paramedics, if you don't feel safe, don't do it. Stand down. Stand your ground. Trust me, when you go into the boss, they're like, well, usually we jump into these. Okay, show me where it says that in protocol. Well, I mean, it doesn't. Okay, show me where it says that in the standard operation of care. I mean, technically it says we're supposed to stand down, but you really should. No. What the rule book says, what the protocol says, what the standard operating procedure says is if there's a violent patient or a threat of violence, we wait for law enforcement. If you want to change that, I want it in writing. Watch what happens. The final note I'll leave you on is my cigar burns down half of my Calibra. There's an announcement going off. Oh boy, here we go. Oh man. Apparently J-Man got a little mouthy. My last piece of advice as I sign off here before I light up another cigar and do my bonus video. Have an out. Have a plan B. Sadly, I have to admit, you will not retire from EMS. It'll chew you up. It'll spit you out. There's no promotion. There's no easy way to level up to a state position. Have a way out. Get your bachelor's in something unrelated. Study something that will give you a terminal degree or a terminal certification. Accounting, engineering, drafting, learn emergency preparedness. Get a degree in health education. Get a degree in education. Something so once you get to that point where you ask yourself, is it time for me to get out of this field? Because once you start asking, the answer is yes. And you need something to fall back on. Strive for that. Strive for that thing that'll get you out of this field. Because you know what? The saltiest of motherfuckers, the doom bots, the ones who are the most toxic in our field, are the ones who have no future in anything else but EMS. I don't care if you got to beg, borrow, or steal to get it. Get some other degree, some other certification, something you can fall back on, and something you can do when, not if, EMS gets too much. Take it from a guy who's been there. You're not far away from having to realize that what you're doing in EMS, although noble and grand, one of the best professions in the world, is something you can't do anymore because it's hurting yourself, your family, your loved ones, your friends, or your psyche. No one retires from EMS. I don't care what the salties say. Have an out. Have a backup plan. Have an escape plan. Because although God calls you to do it, I earnestly can say I don't think it's everyone's long-term goal. Anyway, folks, I'm going to go enjoy this cigar. I'll join you back for that cigar here in a little bit with a new beer, of course. Loving this. By the way, Diesel, keep the sideshow going. We all love them. We need them. We need more of them. You all stay safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.